All right, Woody, thank you. Head coach, the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Jeff Hafley, joins us this morning. Coach, thank you so much, man. I know you got a lot of things going on. I appreciate you finding some time.
I appreciate it, Joe. Thanks for having me on. I just listening to the traffic updates. The only traffic we had in Green Bay was when I got caught behind a tractor, so I feel like I'm back in New Jersey.
Well, listen, you and the wife and family will find out one night when you're living in Broward or living in Dade and you decide you want to go to the other city and find out what that traffic's all about, man. We've really grown up with a lot of people here in South Florida for sure, so that's very funny. Hey, Coach, a lot of great stuff yesterday. I got to tell you, I went back. You're telling your story about that second interview on Monday. And you got other interviews, you got other people trying to figure out and want to talk to you, and you're sitting there waiting. Can you just tell that story? I just thought the whole day, it ended up being one of the greatest days a coach could ever have.
Yeah, it was a wild day, Joe. I'm not going to lie to you. So, I flew in. I'm sitting in a hotel room on Monday, and I'm getting ready to go on this interview, which was scheduled for about 3:30 in the afternoon. I think they had a few people in before me. I'm sitting in the hotel room. I got, one team's trying to get me on a Zoom call to talk and interview me for a second time. I had an owner that was trying to get me on the phone to talk. I had a team that wanted to sneak me out of the hotel and do an interview with them in their hotel. And then I had a team that had a plane waiting to take me right after. So suddenly, I don't know what happened. I became this hot candidate. So I have no clue what the heck was going on. And, I'm talking to my wife and I'm trying to do things the right way. And with me, that's what you're going to get. Very honest, very straightforward, and extremely loyal. And, I gave these guys my word. They were going to be my first visit, and I held to that. So then I get to the office and, I'm sitting there and interviewing, and I think it's going really well and giving a lot of answers, have a lot of energy, bouncing around the room. And then Mr. Ross, he said, "Hey, Jeff, can you leave the room for a second?" I was like, all right, this is going to go one of two ways. Either I said something that made him really mad or they're going to give me the job here. So I texted my wife. I said, "I think I got it." She's like, "Well, what are you going to do? You going to get on the plane or are you going to take it?" I go, "We'll see what happens." And then another half hour went by and I texted her back and said, "I don't think I got it." So it looks like I'm going to be getting on this plane because I was sitting there waiting forever. Then they called me back in the room and they offered me the job. And, I said, "Yeah, I want to be your head coach." And, after meeting with Mr. Ross and being around Sully and really going through the whole process, it was where I wanted to be. I felt the alignment, which is huge to me. And then all of a sudden it got crazier because now the national championship's going on. So they're like, "We have to get to the stadium now. President Trump's going to be here. Everything's going to shut down. The phones are going to turn off. You're not going to be able to get anywhere." So I'm rushing over to the stadium, and here's where something cooler even happened. So we're going through like a back door of the stadium, and I got Troy Aikman and Dan Marino, which for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, like think about this, right? I got Dan Marino and Troy Aikman with me. Like, who am I? And Troy takes a case of beer out of his car. And I said, "Troy, dude, I loved you, and now I like you even more. You bring your own beer into the national champ, and I mean his own beer, his brand,
right?"
And he's like, "Yeah, Jeff, we just got to put it on ice and get it cooler." I was like, "You are the man. Like this guy, like I love this place already." So yeah, we go up, we watch the game, and what a game it was. And for me, meeting a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of supporters, and I mean, I couldn't believe it. A guy who grew up playing small college football, coached small college football, worked my way up, and now I'm sitting there and just so grateful for the opportunity. But yeah, clearly one of the best days I've ever had, and just really honored to have the opportunity.
You were telling that story, and I was thinking about, like, you're there about halfway through, and something had to kick in. You're going, "I'm friggin' the head coach of the Dolphins sitting up here watching this game. Hell, I might even draft some. We might end up drafting a couple guys in this game." So yeah, I that you told that story. I just thought it was great. Coach, there's been so much talk about all these things and building this thing back up, and there's a lot of work to do and the whole thing. But the quarterback topic, the Tua and the quarterback thing in general, and I just want to ask you, we have to figure the quarterback thing out at the end of the day as you build around it first, and the message yesterday. What's your thoughts on the quarterback? You guys have done such a great job in Green Bay long before you got there. Nobody's done a better job of finding quarterbacks long term than what they've done on this run between Favre, Rodgers, now Love, and just going on and on. What's the key for you to find that quarterback?
Well, we're going to have to lean on Sully for that, and I'll do everything that I can, whether it's here in the building, which there will 100% be the guys that compete for that job that are here, and whether it's going out and finding one, whether that's in the draft or whether that's in free agency. I mean, that's going to be a huge part of this whole entire thing. So with Sully and his department and with me helping, that's got to be one of the number one focuses because everything's going to run through that position.
I got to ask you about this guy because you guys know him. His name's popping up all over. We got a shortage of quarterbacks, as you well know, in the NFL to start with. The Malik Willis thing. You've had a chance to watch him up close for the last couple years, and he's won some games for you in Green Bay. Just tell me a little bit about him, what you've seen from him.
Sure. He's a guy that Malik was our scout team quarterback for most of the year, so I got a chance to work really close with him, obviously running the defense, so he gave us the look. As your backup quarterback, as you know, Joe, does in the NFL, I mean, he gave us the look, so we got really close and just loved the way he prepared, loved how serious he was. I mean, he's the guy that after a good defensive performance would come up to me and, say, hey, coach, great job. Wow, what a defensive performance. And I'd always look at him. And sometimes I'd even get to say to him, I'd say, shoot, Malik, you had more yards running and passing than the quarterback we played today. So I appreciate all your hard work and effort. But just being in Green Bay and a couple of times when Jordan couldn't play in the 2 years I was there, I mean, I think Malik went in and won just about every game. He's a great athlete. He's smart. He can throw it. He can make off-scheduled plays. Just a really cool guy to be around in my 2 years, and I'm grateful for all the help that he did with our defense too.
So I got to ask you, players, man, everybody's been raving about you. My phone's been blowing up about you, and players love playing for you. The guys have said they got a lot better because of you. Some guys have said their confidence was down. You got to back up. They call you a player's coach, and now you take a little different role. You are going to call plays, and we'll get into that in a second defensively, but now you're the head coach. The things change, and you thought about it. You've had a chance to obviously watch some really good coaches that you've been assistant for. About the message now, does it change from being a DC to being the head coach in front of the whole 53 or 70 or 80 guys?
Well, who I am and how I treat players, that's not going to change. I'm going to pour into these guys, and I'm a guy that coaches hard. So call me a player's coach. Call me what you want. I'm not really sure exactly what that means at times because people use it different ways. But Here's what I am. I'm going to have really good relationships with these guys. I'm going to get to know their families. I'm going to get to know them, and then I'm going to push them, and I'm going to hold them accountable, and I'm going to be hard on them. And practice is going to be tougher, and I'm going to do everything I can to make these guys better. That's why I'm here. And they might not like some of the things that I say, or they might not like some of the things I ask them to do. But ultimately, if they want to get better, they're going to listen. And that's how I'm going to coach. That's how I've coached defense. And now that I'm the head coach, it's just going to be with the entire team. I want to bring this team together. And you're right. There are some guys that don't have confidence, and I'm going to bring it out of them because I think a confident team is a dangerous team. And a team that believes in themselves and each other is a dangerous team. And that's really the starting point. And that's going to be my message to them as we go. And I'll hire a defensive coordinator that I trust, so I don't have to worry about doing the defense in the offseason, especially this first one. I'm going to be the head coach, and I'm going to focus on offense, defense, and special teams, and really, more importantly, the players themselves.
I talked to you for a second yesterday. I hope you don't mind me just talking about a little bit about this in a few minutes we're together, but I was asking about a lot of rules, and are you about a lot of rules when you sit in front, and the one that we have spent way too much time talking about down here about guys being late and especially, good players, and as long as they're good on Sunday. How do you treat the rules thing and being late?
Well, it's all about the team. It is the team, and everything. It can't be about the individual. You got to put the team first in everything that you do. And if you're not, you're going to struggle with me. And then the next one is no excuses and no explanations. I don't want to hear it. I mean, the rules are going to be simple. They're going to be laid out. And when you don't follow them, you're going to be held accountable. And I don't even want to hear about it. right? You broke them. These are the rules. These are the consequences. Because then it's right. It's be on time and be prepared. So if you're late or you're not prepared for the meeting and you're not prepared to do your job and you're not on time for your job, what you're being paid to do, then there's going to be consequences. And it's as easy as that. And if you do those things, things are going to be great. If you don't, you're probably not going to be here for very long.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. By the way, the other one is the head coach GM relationship is so important. And honestly, one of the reasons I really like the fact you guys been together the last couple of years, everybody looks at it differently. I love the fact that I saw chemistry between you guys just because you've known each other. It wasn't something brand new. But can you talk about working as a head coach with your general manager?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that really drew me here versus taking a look elsewhere. I've been in situations where, the alignment wasn't there. And when things get really hard, and they're going to, one guy kind of turns on the other and they get disconnected. And then there's dysfunction in organizations and you fail. So to me, that alignment was the key. If I want to have a really hard physical practice, I need him to have my back. If he wants to have us do something in the draft process or free agency, I'm going to have his back. If I don't agree with something he's doing, I'm going to tell him. If he doesn't agree with something I'm doing, he's going to tell me, and we're going to work through it, and we're going to be together. And I think that's the whole key to this whole entire thing. We're going to have each other's back. There's going to be disagreements, but we're going to be able to work through those things. I truly think, Joe, without that, I don't think you have a chance. And I think building the foundation together from the start with the same type of, goals and the process to get there, I think it's going to be huge. And that's why I wanted to be a part of this thing.
Yeah, that's hey man, I'm with you on that whole thing. And again, I think everybody that was there got to see that you guys have a great relationship to start with, and there's going to be a lot of trust and respect there. Hey, so just going forward now, you got to make a lot of big decisions on coaches. I'm sure you got relationships with some. You got a pretty good idea who you're thinking of. Are there going to be some guys that have been on this coaching staff you could see staying with you? How do you go about it? And there's so many coaches now to find the right group?
Yeah, good question. And today's really my first full day on the job, right? So I'm going to sit down. I'm going to bring in all the coaches that were here and do things the right way. And yeah, they're going to be guys that I do want to keep. And unfortunately, they're going to be guys that I can't, because I need to bring in my own guys that I've had a plan to work with. Hopefully by the end of this weekend, we'll have all three coordinators in place. I've had a plan really for a couple weeks now on who I wanted to go after, and now it's just about executing that plan. And I think we're really close. Once I get those guys, we'll start to fill out the other pieces. And, I think we're going to have a really good staff.
Hey, Coach, one thing I love, we did your Thursday night football game last year on Thanksgiving. You had to give up Thanksgiving too for that game. And I love when we did the work, how many friggin' draft picks. You guys, Green Bay had more draft picks. The whole starting offensive line were guys homegrown. No, it was, and it's always been a Green Bay thing. Not saying you didn't go out and get some great, one of the greatest defensive players in a trade, but it's been done through the draft, and it was so refreshing, man, to get back and hear we got to draft guys, because I expect a lot of these draft guys to come in and play. Do you agree from this draft coming up?
I do. In Green Bay, we were the youngest defense in the NFL in back-to-back years, and I think people don't really realize that. What you get excited about is when you draft these guys, we're going to make sure that they're built the right way, character-wise, love ball, do the right things on and off the field. And then I do think it's important when you get these young picks, when you get these young players, that you got to develop them. And the only way to develop them is to play them. So there's certainly guys here on the roster right now that, we're gonna develop, and we want them to play. But it doesn't matter to me whether they're a first-year guy or an older vet. We're going to play the best players, and if they're young, our job is to develop them. The only way to do that is to get them into games early.
I know it's a little early, and I don't know how many conversations you have with the wife, but are you thinking going west with a little more land, or are you thinking about going east towards that water and the beach?
Shoot, I'm going from Green Bay to Florida. So if I can get by the water, I'm going to be jumping headfirst into the water. I mean, I lived about a block away from a dairy farm. So if the wind was blowing on a bad day, I couldn't go outside because it smelled too bad. Now I love Green Bay, but I hope to smell a little bit of that water coming off there rather than some cow manure.
Oh gosh, that is classic stuff. Hey, Coach, man, I got to thank you. Thanks for spending some time with us, and I really appreciate it. A little bit of the game plan here and going forward. It was great meeting you yesterday, and thanks for coming on this morning. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I look forward to building a relationship with you guys, and just really excited to be here. You guys have a good day.
All right, Jeff Hafley, the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Drop the mic right there, brother. He said,
Well, that's got me fired up, that interview. That was awesome, man.
How good.
He's great. That was really good.
Man.
What a story, by the way. The Troy Aikman story is fantastic.
Wow.
He brings his own beer to this.
So I knew Troy had his own beer because he brought it for Jimmy Johnson to try when he was down in the Keys.
Uh-huh.
And everybody was talking about this, Troy got too much money apparently because he's got his own beer. And so, yeah, but what a day. What a day. Change your life. Just unbelievable.
I love everything I heard, man.
Hey, man.
The way he's going to run that thing.
I know there's a lot of work. I get it. There's a lot of work for the GM. There's going to be a lot of work for the head coach.
He seems to get that too, though. I think he understands the situation.
He's going, wow, I neither one of those guys walked in and went, wow, you didn't really tell us when you were interviewing us that we got this cap. They're fine. He knows he got those draft picks. And I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like. I am, hey, man, fresh start. Going to be a lot of new faces in a lot of new places over there at the training facility. So, anyway.
Bunch of texts coming in. Awesome guy. Wow, I love him already. Great interview with the new coach.
You know what? The fact you went over there and grabbed a cold beer, the only thing I'm pissed off is I couldn't add I drank those. Although they're drinking beers with Jimmy. That's all right.
Another one says, damn, I hope this guy works out. Love hearing him. He can actually have a conversation. I'm not tuning out.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, man. I just think the other story that's coming out here that Mike's interviewing for Buffalo, good for him.
So it sounds like he's shutting down the old country club.
You think?
Yeah.
Hey, so you're standing there yesterday, and I said, I got to ask you a question, man.
You did. That was the first thing you hit him with.
Because Buffalo's going through, now find out one of their top picks, he wasn't suiting up, and they were short a receiver, and because he was late, he wasn't showing up. And I go, is this common now? And you heard his answer. He was like,
Texter says he doesn't sound high.
Oh, man.
Mike,
See,
now
the shots are coming in.
Yeah.
No
Mike's the new coach of the Bills. Relax.
Yeah. No,
take shots out.
Hey, so
maybe.
So Woody, we gotta get all caught up here.
So much better than yeah, a bunch of that. I didn't hear one.
No, he
Mike's he has.
How about sharing his whole story about planes waiting for him? Can you do an interview? Can you get away? How about I'm thinking he had the job, and then it went, what did he say, 45 minutes or something? He calls her back and goes, I may not be getting this job, so I may be traveling. I'll let you know. He's keeping, the wife's at the other end going, well, what's going on? How we doing? She wants to know. They got kids. What? Well, where are we going? Where are we going next? Are we staying where we are? What's going to happen? Because, these things don't work out. He's back in Green Bay where he can smell the cows, man.
You should have told him you were in a similar situation.
I didn't go on the whole dairy farm, bro.
You're a dairy farm guy.
I was a Northern California dairy farm. And it wasn't me, as my grandparents.
It is so cold, by the way, right now in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin over there. It is like ridiculous. My buddy lives in Milwaukee, said it's going to feel like minus 40 today.
So can I ask
He's down here on the beach. It's 80 degrees today.
It's a no-brainer, right, for these guys coming down that you move east, right?
I don't know.
I think guys that
maybe for him, yes.
I like living west, but we have a smell now. I have horses not too far from me, and there are certain days there's a little, Little when they keep a few extra horses at their house, you get that smell a little bit from time to time.
You want to get real? You want to mess this thing up a little here? This guy says, asked me, how come you guys never spoke to McDaniel? Maybe it's a dumb question. No, it's not. He came on, I want to say twice, 3 times maybe.
Had him at camp a couple of times, and we had him a few months ago. Had him halfway through the season, early in the season.
Yeah, maybe.
And
well, I also really liked that the guy was like, I look forward to building the relationship, which is like, it's kind of refreshing to hear.
Hey, it's nice for our fan base, instead of like trying to act like we didn't have Mike on more. Honestly, sometimes the Mike thing was tough, man. The interviews are really tough. How's that for honesty? In case you haven't been around to hear any of them.
Well, so we did the
I'm
interview.
not taking shots.
No,
I like
fine.
Mike and Katie a lot.
Yeah,
I
they're
love
very
his wife.
nice.
I got nothing against
very
them.
nice guy.
And
but
today's not the day.
We did do the first one. Remember, we did it the day he was introduced. We sat down with him.
Yeah, at same situation.
Yeah.
We did the same thing. Yes, we did. Thanks, Woody.
Interesting.
Thanks for just in case somebody
said,
thinks.
good interview. Please don't have Omar Kelly on to pour cold water on it.
Omar says he's just numb to everything, and he's not getting caught up in anything anybody says. He just wants to see it. That's his thing.
Omar put on a jacket for that press conference yesterday. You see that?
Apparently, Omar's going through a lot of changes, working on complete turnover in females. Is that what I heard? And if he's hanging around with Uncle Luke, he better get ready to roll. Uncle Luke can roll. All right. Hey, we got to go to break here. We got 8 o'clock hour coming up, man.